posicións cómodas de tiro, non? Que gusta que les tirara paz constantemente.
Vemos esa forma.
Very well, welcome to this Sunday's game. My name is Alexandre, and of course I'm the PRO for Gaelic Games Europe. This is the second part of our autumn season, and I hope you're enjoying so far our new format. It is a new format, but of course we'll be mixing it up with some podcasts as well. But for now, you've got to put up with my face. And as last week, I've got a much nicer looking mug about to be introduced. Now, when people think about Gaelic games in Europe, they will think about the centres of Irish population. Of course, they've been traditionally in the main cities like Berlin or Munich or Paris or, of course, Brussels, where a lot of them are there of working with the European Union. However, there are places in Europe that a lot of Irish people are only beginning to understand, are so in love with Gaelic games that we have to kind of, go there. And the most important thing is that not only that we go there as Irish people, but people who love Gaelic games, who love the culture surrounding Gaelic games, love the community surrounding Gaelic games, go to these places where Gaelic football, and of course hurling as well, is deep set into the local community, and through the hard work of people who fell in love with the Irish traditional sports, and now we're making them their traditional sport. And as you hear the cough, as he's about to be introduced, the most important person in one of our most important regions in Europe that we spoke about very, very often, where All-Ireland men's and ladies Gaelic football semi-finals and finals have been broadcast the last couple of years. Of course, it's Galicia in the northwest of Spain, and I am delighted to welcome on to the show this evening our coaching officer for Europe, Mr. Alexandre San Martin Costa, also known as Hanno, not Jano, it's Hanno. Hanno, you're very welcome to the show this evening. How are you doing?
Hi, good evening. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Okay. Hanno, first thing I want to ask, what's the weather like right now in beautiful Galicia?
Well, today it was like 20, 25 degrees or something like that. So it was a really sunny day. I was checking this afternoon the weather forecast for this weekend, and I think maybe on Saturday we will have some rain in the PanEuros finals.
Of course, Galicia, I mean, it's in the northwest of Spain.
Yep.
Kind of, you head out on the boat, and next up basically is Ireland. And there's an awful lot of connections between, we've spoken this before, of course, on the podcast, a lot of connections between Ireland and Galicia. It's very, very broad, isn't it? There is that kind of like Atlantic culture there based between Ireland and northwest Spain.
Yeah, I truly believe that. I think because of the traders in the past, the Atlantic has been like a motorway, for traders to share things like, I don't know, maybe music, food, traditions, stuff like that. So yeah, the Atlantic has played a key role in the connection between Galicia and Ireland.
Okay, we know we discussed it before. It was 10 years ago now that you really got your first glimpse of Gaelic football, fell in love with it, and brought it back to Galicia. How is the game growing in Galicia right now?
Well, right now we have like 10 clubs. Maybe we have one or two more clubs this year. We have started with the introduction of Gaelic football into the schools. So hopefully in the next years we will also have like kids games. We can start with the kids with the game. So the game is growing. After pandemic, we had to work hard to recover some players, but I think we are in a good position, and tournaments like the PanEuros help us a lot.
You mentioned the PanEuros, of course, Hanno, and I remember, and we were in Munich, of course, when we were supporting and making sure that the PanEuros went to Galicia. It's historic that they're actually going there. And then, of course, the pandemic hit, and a couple of years later now, we finally have the PanEuros. How important are the PanEuros being hosted in Galicia for, number one, the growth of Gaelic football and Gaelic games in Galicia, and secondly, the growth of Gaelic games in Europe?
Well, for Galicia, it's really, really important because it's the best promotion that we can have right now to get more players, to get more clubs. So PanEuros like plays a key role right now. Like the Euro Cup that we had during summer help us to keep players and to keep clubs. So the PanEuros is a very good promotion for us.
For Europe as well, because to get all those clubs going to go down, so many as possible to get down. Do you think that this is sort of another step for Europe to show how important and how confident we are in Gaelic games, and also that we are, really, really growing and going into growing areas as well?
Yes. Well, if we see the numbers that we have right now, I think the game is growing in some areas like France. The game is growing quite fast. Also in Iberia, we are almost 30 clubs. Hurling has grown enormously in these last years. So the game is Gaelic football and hurling, both of them. Even handball also is growing in Europe. So I totally agree with you that we are in a good position right now.
Coming out, of course, we spoke, of course, when it was lockdown and Spain was hit very, very hard.
Yeah.
Why have Gaelic games continued to grow in Spain, and especially in Galicia? Why have they continued to expand? Because Spain was extremely hard hit by, of course, the COVID pandemic.
Sorry, because I have some problems. Could you repeat?
Sure. Why have Gaelic games continued to grow so quickly and strongly in Galicia, especially particularly after the really, really difficult, COVID times?
Well, in Galicia, the growing of the game, from my perspective, is due to three main aspects. One of them is because the first time that you hear Gaelic football sounds like football, so Galicians like football. Well, soccer. We are clear, but they get the attention of the Galicians. Secondly, is because of this Celtic roots, this Atlantic culture that we have in common. And thirdly, I would say that is because of the Galician national team. So the Galician national team gets the attention of the sponsors, of the players. All Galicians want to play with the national team in the World Games, in the Euro Cup. So I think it's the three things that I would say that help us to continue growing.
In that identity, of course, we know it in Gaelic games is always very important, because you start to play for your local village or your local town, and then you grow little by little and play for your county. We're seeing Europe as a county, and then small regions within it. How important do you feel that Gaelic games are to a national identity, to give an identity? Because, of course, in Galicia we had super soccer teams like Deportivo La Coruna and so on. I know they've had hard times recently, but at the same time, they were representative of the region. But how important is Gaelic Games to bring people together and sort of give that sense of, I guess, identity?
Well, the GAA is more than a game. GAA also represents to defend your piece of land, to represent your community. These kind of values that I think, I don't want to sound like rude, but some other sports have lost this kind of values. To keep, this kind of values is really important.
The first club, as far as I remember, that was set up in Galicia was Estrella, correct?
No, the first club is A Coruna Filhos de Breogán.
Okay, Filhos de Breogán. And but the sort of the traditional the strongest club has been Estrella. But who now should people look out for in Galicia? Who clubs are going to basically start to creep up to the top or rise up to the top, I should say?
Well, at the beginning, when the league started in 2012, the top team was Estrella Vermella. In these last years, A Coruna Filhos de Breogán has been the strongest team in Galicia. And recently, also the team from Vigo, Keltoy, they are pushing hard. They are also one of the strongest team in Galicia.
Well, just onto the schools work as well, because I mean that's extremely important, and you stated over and over, and it's been discussed time and again, investment in youth, and we discussed it last week with John. We discussed it, of course, with the guys from Van, what they're doing there as well. How important is that investment? Because investment isn't just money; it's also time, it's also energy, it's also knowledge. How important is that investment in the youth in just in Galicia? How is that going? Do you feel it's going to pay off in the long run?
Well, if we want to have a future, we need to work with the youngest. So it is really important to start working with the youngest if we want to secure like a future.
Now with the schools, Hannah, we have a video that I'm just going to play because I mean there's terrific work that you've been doing. Can you just tell people, because a lot of people in Rennes, for example, in Brittany, they've been able to do it, to get into schools and to work with schools. What bit of advice, let's say 2 things not to do and 2 things to do, that people should keep in mind if they want to go coaching in a local school?
Well, the first thing that I would tell them is the most important is that the kids have fun. That's the most important thing, because fun should be in the center of everything. Apart from that, I think I'm going to say to teach values, to teach what the sport represents.
Okay. Before we go on to the next part, we'll chat a little bit more about the PanEuros, just a little ins and outs about it. This is a nice video, it's a couple of minutes long, that Hannah and the guys did in Galicia to basically showcase the work they're doing. And you'll recognize his face here in parts, even though he has a mask on. But you'll see who it is. You'll know what to hear.
Straight
think just a little glimpse into that, and there's no way that anybody can. Both of us are smiling or watching that, and you have to have a smile on your face, just because of the setting and so on. Where was that exact camp held, Hanno? And how difficult or how easy was it to get in there, especially because it's a soccer field. It looks like a soccer field.
Yeah, well, the campus, it was a summer camp. It took place last year in the south of Galicia in a village called Gondomar. So I think the attendance was like 30 kids from different ages, from 8 to 15. Well, there are some difficulties because you have to compete with other sports, but the club over there did a good job. So they got a lot of kids. This year they could repeat it.
It does look what I really was impressed with, and it's something that again that we've discussed before, and I think that your outlook is ideal, is that participation is key, that they actually the kids enjoy it and go away feeling positive. How important is that, Hannah? Because we many of us grow up with this fear of sport. So how important is it to make it a very enjoyable environment for children to take part in?
If we want them to continue in the sport, we should promote values, and they should have fun when they come to the summer camps. So I think that's what we are doing. I think we are in the correct way.
Totally agree. Before now, we've spoken with the PanEuros are on this weekend, of course, and terrific work being done by the Galicia. The poster they have. This is in, looking at it really is so impressive. How much work is involved in this, Hanno? I mean, how many people are behind the scenes making sure that this is going to be perfect this Saturday?
Well, this kind of tournaments, like the Euro Cup that we had in Pontevedra in July, it takes a lot of time. Always there are a group of people working hard. It takes, I don't know how many hours can be. It's a lot of time that you give for free. So we all must be thankful for what the A Coruna Feeders de Brogan is doing for having this tournament this Saturday. So it's a massive work what they have done so far.
What about the support of the city and of the region? Have they been equally as helpful?
Well, in fairness, I just arrived a few days from the refugees camp. I don't have many information right now with me. Even I have a cold, so I don't know if you recognize it. I don't feel really well today.
You're doing great.
Yes, so I don't have all the details, but I think that the city council helped them, with the pitches. Also, I think they got the support from Gaelic Games Europe, from our European Federation. So hopefully all goes well this weekend.
I'm sure it will. I'm certain it will. I know a lot of people are heading down, so they're on it's kind of the El Camino, but not to the Tomb of St. James. They're actually just going to A Coruna.
Yeah. Yes.
It's good. We spoke about that 2 years ago. That's what it is. You mentioned that about the refugee camp, and of course it's down in Greece, and this is what was set up, and of course it was with the refugee camps in Katsikistan. There are 3 camps, if I'm correct on that, and in the camp you were working, there was 400 families. First of all, just tell us how you got involved in this? Just that you found out about the camp, and then how you began to coach Gaelic football in this camp in Greece.
Well, as you have said, I'm the coaching officer for Gaelic Games Europe. So as part of this year, I wanted to carry out a cooperation project. So thanks to a third person, we met one Irish girl that she's working in the refugee camp, in one of the refugees camp. So we got in contact with her. We proposed her to introduce Gaelic football into as part of the activities that they have during the week. So obviously, she's Irish. She play Gaelic football. She said she loved the idea. So it just was a matter of looking for dates and to start the preparation of the activities. I don't hear you.
Yeah, I had muted myself. Thankfully, it's better to listen to you with on mute. What I was asked was, how difficult are the conditions that these people live in these camps? What can you tell us about life in Katsikis?
Well, in fairness, is really difficult because right now there are a lot of people from Afghanistan. So because of the Taliban, so they have most of them. I'm going to tell you openly, most of them have crossed from Afghanistan to Turkey, walking or by car at night. Then when they arrive to Turkey, they in the black market they pay like 1,000 or 2,000 euros to get a space on a boat to cross to Greece and to have the opportunity of arriving to Europe. So in Gatsika, there are three camps. One of them is with 400 families. Maybe they have opportunity to finish in a country, in a European country like France or Germany. Then there are another camp of kids without parents. So they are like alone. And then there are another camp for people that they don't have any kind of possibilities of moving because they don't have papers or they don't have anything. So the stories that they tell are quite impressive, quite hard. In fairness, honestly.
I remember living in Malta 2009 to 2010 and once seeing what was left of a migrant boat that was heading for Italy. It ended up in, I think it ended up not too far away from Lampedusa, but then for every way it got wrecked, it was empty. The Maltese Navy reckoned that there were, upwards from 100 people were there, 100 to 120. There was nobody left on board, so either they drowned or got up at Lampedusa, but there were no people reported landing there. This year alone, up until the middle of September, 1,200 people that they know have drowned in the Mediterranean trying to get from, Libya, from Turkey and across. Yeah. What changed in your from your interaction with the people in the camps? Did anything change for you in your outlook about what's happening in the region at the moment and the attitudes of people to migrants?
Well, for me, it has been a great experience because you've been in touch with people that they really have problems. I don't know if it is like I know how to say it. Maybe I would say it's like a lesson in humility. It's like wow, these people is really suffering. So it changes your mind completely. So now maybe your perspective, the things, the way you see things, it changed totally. So I would say that. No?
Did you bring anything back to, like, to your work with Gaelic Games Europe or your work in Galicia? Has something like, you said like humility, but have you been able to sort of adapt and bring something back that will, kind of improve things for people around you?
Well, maybe to transmit what I have seen there, to tell people that if we think that our lives are hard, we should see what other people, what other lives are. Like. In fairness, they are suffering a lot, but they were really really happy participating in activities. No? Apart, their lives are shit. Let's be honest. Pardon my French.
But that was English, by the way, so that's okay. It was French, merde, but it's okay.
But they left the problems out. They came to the pitch. They play. They enjoy. So it's something that we should learn. That maybe the poorest people in the world, sometimes they are the happiest. It's contradictory, but it is what it is.
Going to play a little clip from the camp. Just put together some videos that Hanno took there. So I think it actually really brings forward exactly what you're saying, that the people who they have nothing and they're grateful for what they have, and when attention is given to them, something different given to them, simple human attention, it really makes life that bit better. So this is just 30 odd seconds of sort of combination of clips from Hannah's work in Catsigas. I think that you should have explained to the last lad there that he could take his 4 steps. He doesn't have to. It's a common thing when working with kids in Russia or students in Russia. And so I said, take your 4 steps. You might be able to sneak a 5th. Don't worry about it. Looking at the fun they're having, and you can see smiles on the faces. How many kids did you work with during your time there? And are you going to go back for another stint to coach?
Well, first it was a little bit complicated to introduce an activity like Gaelic football. So I changed the name of the activity. So I call it like Irish football, because maybe it worked better for them. So in the first training, I had like 8 people. So kids, adults, 8 people. But in the last one, we were almost 30 people. So the way of doing the trainings was like doing it in a funny way to get them engaged with the game. So the activities were 2 days per week. Well, it was like a first experience. I was there for almost 1 month. I'm not sure about returning or not. It depends of my life here, but I would like to return. Maybe during spring or something like that. I'll check the possibility of returning.
In saying that, would you encourage people, because there's a lot of not just Irish people who have the ability to go and to help out in places like that. Would you encourage people to go to help out in camps like that? Okay, let's just talk about just spreading Gaelic football and hurling. Would you encourage people to go and have that experience?
Yes, of course. I think it's an experience for life. Probably it's one of the best experience I ever had in my life. So I will recommend it. It's a great experience for you. That's true. But on the other hand, when you leave, it's like, well, I'm going back to my normal life, and they stay. So you can't solve the problem that they have, but at least you try to help. But it's at the same time, as I said before, it's contradictory. It's you had like a great experience there, but at the same time you are like, okay, I'm going back to my happy life. They stay. So it's something like this. So I give all the information. I give all the information that I felt during this day. So,
are you happy to have done it?
Yes, I'm really happy. I will come back without doubt. So, well, it depends because I need money at the same time. I have to work. I have my life here, but yes, I will return for sure.
Okay, we're going to wrap up now in a moment, and I just want to again bring back, of course, the PanEuros.
Yeah, PanEuros.
They're on this Saturday, the 15th of October, in the beautiful region of Galicia, and of course in the town of A Coruna. Tell people what they can expect. There's some people who are already down there. I know, for example, our Tony Bass I think he's already down there at the moment.
Yes.
And John Murphy, they're all heading down to go. I wish I was there. I'm stuck here working.
Yes.
But how will people find it? And let's just say, what will people enjoy most about A Coruna and Galicia? And what two things do you think that they should 100% do while they're there?
Well, first they should taste the food, the Galician food. It's like this is a masterpiece of the culture. So to taste the Galician food, I don't know, things like octopus or the Galician pie or things like that. They should taste the food, the Galician food, and then A Coruna is, if not the most, is one of the most beautiful cities, not only in Galicia but in Spain. So the city itself is really nice. And then if we talk about the competition, they are going to watch the best Gaelic football of Europe. So there are teams like Valencia that are really strong, or Madrid, Barça. They are really strong teams. So they are going to see a high quality Gaelic football in A Coruna this weekend.
Okay, and hopefully then the weather will stay dry and they can enjoy it even more. But even then, I think even if it rains in A Coruna, it's still going to be very, very nice.
But maybe, that's one thing. Maybe they are going to discover the Galician rain. We call it orvallo. Orvallo is like a fine rain. It's not like a raining, like it rains, it pours. It's like it's finest. I don't know how to say it.
Like a mist. A mist.
Yeah, something like that. We call it in Galician language. In Galicia, we speak Galician. We have also our own language. We use a word named orvallo. So probably they are going to discover our traditional rain.
We know in Spanish that hola is hello. What's hello in Galician?
It's the same. We say
Okay. What's gracias is thank you in Spanish. What is it in Galician?
In Galicia, you can use gracias. They are going to understand it. Or you can also use obrigado, or maybe the most common word is graciñas. to say, you know,
Graciñas.
to end the word with iño or iña, graciñas, something like that. Probably is the most common, but you can also say gracias, or even obrigado is another word that you can use.
Because obrigado is Portuguese.
Yeah, but Galician language is quite similar to Portuguese. Even in the past, they were the same language, and nowadays they share maybe, I don't know, maybe 95% of the words. So it's really, 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 really close languages.
Excellent. So graciñas, is that correct?
Yeah, you can use graciñas, yes.
Graciñas. Excellent. So on that note,
Muitas grazas también. Grazas is another, but it's maybe not really common, but you can use also grazas. Muitas grazas, you can say.
Muitas grazas.
Muitas grazas.
Muitas grazas. I'll stick with graciñas. That feels nicer to say.
Yeah, graciñas is like probably is the most common way to say thank you. Graciñas is probably the most common, but also you have gracias, grazas, or you can use also like the Portuguese part, obrigado.
Okay, well,
okay, so a lot of words.
Yeah, it's great. Are people
a lot of words to learn?
Polyglots. They're going to speak in
more
languages. And on that note, I'll say.
In Russian.
I will say, gracias, obrigado. Thank you so much for always being a terrific guest. And again, folks, I will just say that today is a public holiday in Galicia.
Yeah.
And Hanno took the time out to speak with us this evening. So thank you so much. The very best of this weekend. Thank you so much for all you're doing with Gaelic Games in Europe. And thank you again for what you did in Greece, in Katsikis, because again, it's, seeing people give up their time, give up their energy, give up their heart and their soul is hugely important. And that's what Gaelic Games is. And
this
is what we need, more of those people in Gaelic Games. So Alexandre, Costa, thank you very much and have a very good evening.
No, thanks to you for your time and dedication. Thank you.
Okay, folks, on that note, I will say goodbye for now, and we'll be back, of course, next Wednesday, the same time at 8:15 CET, with some more this Sunday's game. I always had another show that involved it as well, but I didn't. I've been very, very careful. So thank you very much. Remember to click, like, share, and to follow us on our social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This will be going up on YouTube tomorrow as well, just in case anyone didn't catch our Facebook or doesn't want to use Facebook because they don't go for Meta and Mr. Zuckerberg and so on and so forth. So on that note, I'll say to everyone going down or who's already in Galicia to have a lovely weekend. Bring the sun with you. Try to chase away the beautiful misty rain in the northwest of Spain. Enjoy yourselves. Have a brilliant, brilliant PanEuros. And of course, we will speak with you next Wednesday at 8:15 CET. I'm Alan Moore, the CEO. I'm the PRO. I don't even want to assume that I'm the PRO for Gaelic Games Europe. Saying take care of yourselves and each other. I'm going to play out with that same little piece of promo we started off the show with of Gaelic Games in Galicia. So next week, take care of yourselves.
Que no encontran posicións cómodas de tiro, ¿no? Que te gusta que les tirara constantemente.
Vemos esa forma